New bids for Lavia as the deal for Liverpool to sign the Southampton midfielder draws ever closer. When will Chelsea, when will Arsenal get involved in this deal? We are going to discuss. Plus, it's reported there is a new imminent signing on his way to Arsenal. And we're taking a look at Manchester United with links to Fred, McTominay, and Maguire leaving the football club. This is music to many Man United fans' ears, but there's a strategy by the club that needs your help. Stop baiting us up. Hit the like button, viewers. Subscribe to the Football Terrace right now. Let's go.
Now about Scott McTominay and Harry Maguire as well, because we're hearing that West Ham have held initial talks with Manchester United over the signings of Maguire and McTominay. Early suggestions indicate a gap in valuations for both players. We're told United see Maguire and McTominay as top players, very important members of the squad. While they're not encouraging offers, it's thought they would require very big bids for United to even consider a sale.
That's exactly what Man United need to be saying and doing. I've already seen so many prominent Man United fans online act, oh, if we price them out of a move, they won't go. If we set the asking prices at 45 million for Maguire, at 20 million for Fred, at 45, 50 million for McTominay and Maguire, as I've mentioned, we're not going to get rid of them. We won't sell them, and we need to raise the money. Stop being bait. Stop being bait, people. Man United fans, learn to help your football club. Legitimately, learn to help your football club. Man United, listen to the narrative, the rhetoric, the words. We're almost doing to our potential buyers of our players, potential buyers of our players, what vendors do to us when we're trying to buy somebody. Listen to the terminology. There's a huge gap in valuation. It's an important first-team player under no pressure to sell. This is the type of language we should always be using when selling players. And fans should just, I'm not saying pretend that, yeah, Maguire is worth 50 million, because I don't think he is. Now, I'm baiting the club up now as well, but I'm trying to do this to help us in the longer term. Just ignore it. Leave it where it is. You don't need to condemn it and slam it, because the club has to do this to sell people and raise decent amounts of money. One of Man United's biggest problems in the last 10 years has been with undersold nearly every single player at the club, which means we don't raise enough money to reinvest. And people keep coming out with this nonsense of, well, it isn't my money, so why do I care? Well, you should. Stop being an idiot. The less amount, the less money that comes in, the less we can spend. The more money we spend, the less there is remaining. And if you burn the candle at both ends, what happens? So look, I'm very happy to see Man United in this situation. We are looking to sell McTominay, Fred, Maguire, but we're looking to raise big money so we can reinvest it. Let's help the club by just sharing these stories. We don't need to comment and say we agree with it, but let's stop attacking the football club for actually doing the right thing. We've been crying for a decade for them to do the right thing, and we're finally doing it, and people are angry about it. Very, very strange indeed to me. But look, they're on the agenda to be sold. I'm very happy about that. Let me know your thoughts, feelings, and opinions below. Now, we've all seen the stories surrounding Lavia, and the reports are now that Liverpool are prepared to return with a new approach to Southampton for Lavia. The Saints have made it clear they want a £50 million package. The word package is very important here. They're not saying 50 million base, they're saying package in totality. After initial contact on Tuesday, talks on the player side in place for weeks. That's no problem. Personal terms are very much agreed there. No issue on the personal terms. Lavia open to joining Liverpool. That's also been corroborated. Fabrizio went first with this. Ornstein has also put out an update on this and stated that Liverpool are set to return with an improved offer. 37 million opening bid was rejected. They want a 50 million package. High chance the deal gets done, although Chelsea remain firmly interested. Now, what's really interesting here is Liverpool are well ahead of Arsenal and well ahead of Chelsea in the pursuit of Lavia. Now, there's been times over the course of the summer where Lavia to Chelsea or Lavia to Arsenal have seemed really plausible, possible, and gettable deals. Now, I think from an Arsenal point of view, if Thomas Partey stays, there is actually no point at this moment in time in going in for Lavia because Partey and Declan Rice are both better, so he isn't going to start games. They have Jorginho, who is a top-class backup, in my personal opinion, and they do have Lokonga and they have El Neni. One of them will probably leave, but they have enough backup. They're strong enough, I think, in that central midfield area. Chelsea, on the other hand, it's an interesting conundrum because today we've seen Poch state exactly what I expected to come out of his mouth. He's worried about the lack of experience in the team. And that comes from Tom Roddy, who's a very, very credible Chelsea journalist. For Liverpool, so I look at Chelsea and I know that they're pursuing Caicedo. They'll have Caicedo and Enzo. Again, both better than Lavia right now, even though they don't play, they're not the same profile. They need to maybe add some experience in instead of another young player. So I think it helps Liverpool win this race. And of course, Liverpool are a massively attractive club, Jurgen Klopp and all that jazz. But Liverpool also need experience too if Fabinho leaves. So I'm very intrigued to know what else Liverpool are going to do this summer. But we isolate it down to the individual signing. It's brilliant business. Lavia's it's a great talent. And I think 50 million pounds for him as a totality package, maybe 40 million base, 45 million base with some add-ons. I think over the next 4 to 5 years, he's going to represent excellent business for Liverpool. I really do think it's excellent business. And I'm intrigued to see how this new Liverpool midfield works out. I think he's going to join them. It'll be Lavia, Szoboszlai, and McAllister. Complete midfield overhaul in one summer. Can they click straight away? What will the relationship be like? Will it take them a couple of years to click? Equally, could they click straight away and within the next couple of years be one of the best young, energetic, powerful, and technically gifted midfielders in Europe? There's certainly a possibility in that. But as ever, your opinions matter the most. Put them in the comment section below and let us know what you're thinking. Now, Arsenal are in the headlines again today. But it's such an interesting story because the Brazilian press keep pushing this story. The Arsenal are to seal the Betello signing imminently. It says, while a £7 million signing for the Brazilian perhaps doesn't rank quite as highly as other deals Arsenal have conducted this summer, it appears to be what is next on the agenda, according to TMW, who, by all accounts, are a pretty damn credible Brazilian outlet. It says the Gunners are set to close a £7 million deal for the Grêmio midfielder, 23 years of age. I think his name is pronounced Betello. It says the Brazilian Giants are reportedly holding out for more, but a discount was offered to the North London Giants. And you'll probably find that to do with Edu's connections with the club. I don't know anything about this kid. In fact, I tried to find him on like transfermarket.co.uk. Couldn't find a profile. There's very little information out there about him, genuinely. And I mean, in fairness, I haven't searched for a couple of days. Maybe profiles have been created now that his name's out there. But it's interesting to know what Arsenal fans think, because there are some who I speak to who believe that this is just Arsenal's name being used to maybe generate eyes on this 23-year-old, maybe get a few more clubs lower down the pecking order in European football looking at him. And I think that's a fine theory because it's only £7 million. I get it. But 23 years of age and still in South America, how good is he really? Is this just another deal where Edu's giving some of Arsenal's money away? If it's real, by the way, is Edu just giving away a small proportion of Arsenal's money to keep relationships with certain Brazilian agents and clubs alive? And that might, I know that frustrating. Is that what this deal's about, as opposed to this player being a special something for Arsenal in the short, medium, and long term? Maybe. But what is the upside to that? I was thinking about it today, sort of getting ready this morning, and I'm like, do you know what? I know it annoys certain Arsenal fans, especially Lee Gunner. Lee Gunner gets very frustrated with Arsenal Marquinhos, and this deal was examples. I think Palomari. Sometimes you've got to think long term, though. And what if Edu and Arsenal were doing this to maintain these great relationships so that the next time there is a Vinicius Jr., the next time there is a Neymar, they get first dibs on a 16, 17, 18-year-old who's tipped to be an absolute powerhouse and colossus. And I'm throwing that out there as a theory. So as much as it's frustrating, I think, to some gooners, why are we spending £7 million on a kid that's probably not good enough, he's barely going to play, we'll go out on loan and we'll never see. Why are we doing that? In my experience in some of the jobs I had prior to sort of doing YouTube full time, part of building the relationships that led to multi-million pound contracts that we won as a business was doing people favors, doing something that didn't make you any profit. Sometimes doing things that made you a slight loss as a business as a favor to land something bigger down the line. Could that be what Arsenal are planning here? Or is this just Edu helping out his mates with Arsenal's money? I want to know your opinions. And I want to see how diehard Terrace fans here, because it'll be your opinions that come in last because you've got to the end of this video. I want to know what you think and feel. But a round up on the stories. Man United asking for 45 million for Mctominay, around 50 million for Maguire, and 20 million for Fred. That is bang on. Man United fans encourage it and support it, because this is how we raise more money coming in. And if we want to use your terms, this is how you have better net spend. You have to behave this way. Lavia, new bid on the way. That deal looks like Liverpool are going to get it done, dusted, and over the line. And according to the reports, as we've mentioned, Arsenal with a new signing imminent. Hit the like button, subscribe, share, and we'll see you all again very, very soon.